Welcome to the official NBA Top Shot podcast. Here, we'll keep you up to date on all things NBA Top Shot, from breaking down the latest moments to navigating the newest features. We're here to help you have fun and own the greatest plays in NBA history. Let's start the show.
Welcome to the NBA Top Shot podcast. Magic Johnson is here, and we are in the thick of the NBA Finals. We're going to talk potential moments for the finals set and predictions for the series. I'm not alone today, which means this is going to be a fun one. Brandon is back, hopefully dishing dimes on moments being considered from the Croatian team. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be back. It feels like it's been a while, although a week in this space feels like a month, as people love to say. But I'm here, and I'm excited about it. Magic Day, huh?
Magic, definitely. And here from the front lines of the NBA Finals, our special Celtics super spy, Abby Chin, is here. Abby, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. I actually saw Magic in passing when we were in San Francisco for game one of the finals.
Oh, yeah.
He had a very large entourage and a huge security detail, so I did not get very close, but I did see him.
Nice. I want to ask about the security now, but I won't. But I'm super excited to have you both here. Again, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals, the games, and the upcoming Legendary set. And just to recap some of the Magic as well. Brandon, quick question for you. Do you have any autographs around the house from NBA players or anything like that?
Funny you ask, Steve. Unfortunately, I don't have a Magic Johnson. That would be cool, huh? I did, however, I must confess, I lined up for the queue today just to see if I landed a spot. I did not. So,
do you still try your pack luck to see if you get any queue luck?
That's hilarious. You do? Do you do that for every drop?
This is the first time I've done it. Okay. I just had to. And I got that exhilarating feeling like when the queue hit again, it happened again. So that was funny. Did not land a good number, though. So
But you also don't have any sort of priority code or anything?
Well, we're not allowed to collect.
We're not allowed.
You just wanted to see. You're just going to check? What would you have done if you did win?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, would I have gotten to the checkout screen and then would I have contemplated what my future is going to be? You know, am I still going to work for a Top Shot, or am I going to go ahead and move on so I can buy this Magic moment? I don't really know. But I'm glad I wasn't put in that position. However, back to your original question, Steve. Okay. Autographs around the house. I do. Funny, I pulled a this is so random. I pulled a Tim Legler card one time. Autograph card, Tim Legler. Love Tim Legler. Great analyst. Does great work. And then I actually just bought my father. This is going to come out, so hopefully he doesn't listen to this. His birthday was this past weekend, and Father's Day is coming up. I bought him a Russell Westbrook rookie autograph card.
Oh, nice.
That I haven't given to him yet, so hopefully he doesn't find out through this. But yeah, so that's all. Those are the two autograph things I have around the house.
I love the idea of knowing the randomizer as a character. He always hated me, so just to be spiteful, he'd probably give me the number one spot in the queue now that I can't act on it at all anyway. But the reason I ask is the first ever on-chain autographed moments are on the site. These were applied to all 80 of the Magic Legendary moments. So that really spells an exciting future for what is possible for Top Shot and autograph moments. The details are in the metadata of the NFT as well. So look out for more of that in the future, hopefully. As always, we're still quietly just giving away some packs to listeners, and they've been good packs too. I'm kind of jealous. I'm not going to say what they were, but they've been very good packs. And I'm going to make you work a little bit for the next one to win a Top Shot pack. I want you to predict Game 3 or Game 4. Look, we'll go both. I'm going wild. I'm going off the rails here. We'll go both. If you predict the winner and the points margin of Game 3 or Game 4, the closest wins, we'll send you a pack. Email mailbag@nbatopshot.com. I'm abusing the mailbag. Sorry, not sorry. So enter the competition that way to win a pack from the podcast, because we appreciate you.
Steve, is it Price is Right rules?
Sorry?
Price is Right rules. Can you go? Is it better to be
Yes.
under than over? Okay.
I was just going to go closest. What do you think?
I vote Price is Right rules. That is just ingrained.
All right, Price is Right rules it is. Done.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, real quick about the Magic Johnson autograph collection. I'm amazed at how well you can still read his autograph. Mine is just scribble whenever I'm signing anything.
Oh,
and then even if at the rare occasion that someone asks me to sign something, I don't even remember how to make the letters anymore.
No two of mine are the
I'm
same.
impressed.
The superstar's autograph, though, is unlike a normal person's, though, right? Because this is something that's kind of a part of their brand at this point. Like, he has the whole number 32 a part of his signature or his autograph. Like, you have to have a good one. You can't have, like, some chicken scratch autograph as a superstar. That doesn't work. That's something you probably have, like your publicist works with you on or something. I don't know.
There's thought that's gone into it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I know. Steve, you asked Brandon if he has any autographs. I was thinking about it hard. The best autograph I have is from Cedric Maxwell in his book. He put a book out last year, and he gave me a free copy but refused to sign it. I had to like hunt him down. I think it was game 65 or something, and I laid it in front of him with a pen, and I said, Max, you have to sign this for me, please. And he begrudgingly did it. So that is my favorite autograph at the moment. Cornbread.
I love it. Nothing better than a begrudged autograph.
Yeah. But I am interested to hear your guys' predictions for games 3 and 4. Are we going to do that?
Yes, we are going to do that. What do you think?
Me? So I'm really torn. I've
Same.
thought really hard about this. Two things. Number
You're not
one.
biased, though. You have no bias, right?
Well, I know that's why, and I should have inside info, but with this team this season, I just have no idea what's going to happen, and it's driving me crazy. I want to say the Celtics, I know they're going to win at least one of these games here in Boston. But I can't decide which one I think it's going to be. So the Celtics have not dropped back-to-back games in a game that Al Horford and Jason Tatum played in since January. So that makes me feel like game 3, they're going to come out with a vengeance, especially the way things went in game 2. However, this playoff run, the Celtics have had an issue, and we saw it in the Miami series, of coming home and just thinking that Garden crowd is going to lift them. And so letting their foot off the gas just a little bit, just enough. And when you're at this stage, that matters. And so that's my fear for this team in game 3. And then in game 4, all bets are off. We've seen them, what happens in game 7s, backs against the wall, they come through. So that's what I'm torn. I believe the Celtics are going to get one of these games. And I just can't put my finger on which one they're going to come out with the right mentality. Brandon, what do you think?
I'm with you. I think they get one of the games. I think this is going to be a close series to the finish. These teams, honestly, these first 2 games have gone really weird, kind of, right? Game 1, the Celtics steal in the Bay.
I wouldn't go that far, Brandon. Steal?
Here's why I say that, right? Curry had a great game, hit 6 threes in the first quarter, where you're like, what are the Celtics doing? What is the defensive plan against Steph Curry here? Tatum does not have a good scoring game. Yes, he dishes out 13 assists, but if you go back and watch the tape, he's kind of just finding the open 3-point shooter, and they're knocking him down, which is, that's great. That's what you have to do to win these games. But normally you would expect your superstar to perform at a super high level to win an NBA Finals game on the road against a former champion, and that didn't happen. And the Celtics come away with the win. Game 2, I
would say they took it, not stole it. Okay. They took it in game 4.
It was also the widest margin in the fourth quarter in the NBA Finals for possibly ever, which you just can't predict.
They Warriors the Warriors, right? They gave them a taste of their own medicine. And then game 2, I mean, we still haven't seen Klay Thompson show up in this series.
No.
And the Warriors win last game. So it feels like we're almost starting at game 1. It feels like game 3 is game 1 of this series to me.
Brandon, are all the moments from game 1 just from that fourth quarter for the Celtics?
You know what?
Al Horford knocking down threes. I guess there were some Rob Williams alley-oops early on.
Well, I was going to ask you, Abby, what moments have stood out to you so far from the Celtics, and then we can bully Brandon into making those moments.
Okay. Yes. The moments, obviously, what I mentioned, Rob Williams throwing it down in that first quarter when the Celtics were still trying to get some traction. But the issues that he has had with his knee, to see him elevate like that, it just reminded you of what he's capable of and what we haven't gotten to see since that knee injury. Gotten to see as much. He still has those moments. And then it was the fourth quarter. It was Al Horford he is now 36 years old, knocking down threes, having absolutely no problem with that Warriors defense, who were just sagging off of him. The disrespect they were showing Al Horford on the perimeter and just knocking it down in their face. I really enjoyed that. That was some of my favorite moments.
Which, by the way, Abby, they apologized for in game 2 by literally first possession of the game. Al Horford touches it, and Draymond is all in his area and forces a jump ball like 5 seconds into the game.
3 feet above the 3-point line as well.
Yeah.
I asked Al Horford about that post game if he was surprised by the physicality, and he took offense to that, to my disrespect for asking that. And everyone afterwards just said it wasn't a difference in physicality, it was an intensity level, and the Celtics just need to raise their intensity level to match, which is absolutely true. But not a ton to like from game 2 from a Celtics standpoint, aside from the great start that they got and a couple of Jason Tatum wiggling his way to the rim. Jaylen Brown moments too. Jaylen Brown MVP of game 1.
Yeah, kind of underratedly so, I would say too, with Jaylen Brown, right? He's in my opinion, he was the reason they won that game in that third quarter, where he was making play after play after play, building the momentum for the Celtics to kind of take off from there. You mentioned the Rob Williams dunk. I will say we have that play. I'm not going to commit to that play being in the set. We have that play, though. It is in the running.
In the running. Okay.
It's game 2. We got a lot of series to play. You never know what makes the cut, what doesn't. Derek White was huge in game 1. Big shots. He hits that big 3, late shot clock in the fourth quarter. Steph all over him. It's a huge shot. That play was off of a kick out from Jaylen Brown. And then you mentioned Horford. Takes the lead with a huge 3 in the fourth quarter. That's a play we're looking at. 103-103. They get their first lead of the game on that Horford 3. I think he hit 6 in game 1. And then Jordan Poole in game 2. That massive late third quarter shot at near half court. Nothing but net. Good celebration after. Everything you love in a top shot moment. I'd be surprised if you don't see that make its way in one of the sets.
Those back-to-back threes, you felt them in your gut when he hit those. It was just felt like a punch. And his story is so remarkable. That was what it was coming out of that he was almost played off the floor in game 1, less than 9 minutes, when he's a guy who has built his way up into being a part of this rotation. And then for him to come out immediately once his number is called and knock down those shots, it was pretty impressive.
And that's what makes game 3 a game 1, to your point, Brandon, in that in any given game, having watched the Warriors as much as I have, you don't know which Warriors are going to show up. Sometimes they just do just enough, but it's that last 4 minutes of the third quarter where that just destroys the other team and makes it 4-point lead, a 26-point lead. And that's what makes game 3 and 4 so unpredictable for me, is you don't know which team's going to show up. They're all going to try and show up, but someone's going to catch fire. And so to that point, I was going to ask you guys, who's due to give us a moment in this series?
I think it's got to be Klay Thompson. I mean, there's 2, right? Let's go each team. I'll let Abby answer her team, the Celtics over there. But for the Warriors, I think it's got to be Klay Thompson. He really hasn't been felt in this series yet, and you're just waiting for it. Like, it is inevitable. Klay Thompson will explode at some point in time in this series, and it's just a matter of when. And when he does, the Warriors will win that game. Like, that's what we know. When Klay Thompson goes off, the Warriors win. That's pretty much how it seems to go. So I'm waiting for it.
Steph was talking today that you never know when it's going to happen, but you know that it is always possible. And it is just incredible when he does have those moments. But he also said it's so cool, the demeanor of Klay. He has lost no confidence. This slump that he's going through, it is not affecting him. He's like, he walks around here like he's averaging 50 points a game in the NBA Finals. So he has no doubt that Klay will have some moments here coming up. For the Celtics, I mean, Brandon, it's a lot like you said. It's got to be Jason Tatum. He has not had an offensive explosion like we know that he's capable of yet in this series. But I also want to shout out Marcus Smart, who, and Brandon, you know, the moments are not only alley-oop throwdowns or hitting threes. It's also the little things and the gritty plays that are some of the best moments. And that's where Marcus Smart, that's his bread and butter. So I'm waiting for a Marcus Smart diving on the floor like the Cobra to grab a steal and change the game, or taking a shot from Draymond Green and going right back at him, or something like that.
absolutely awful game by Marcus Smart's standards last game, right? 2 points, 5 assists, 5 turnovers. I mean, he's a better player than that. He knows that. Everybody else knows that. He seems like the ultimate weapon to use against the Warriors, right? He can guard the perimeter. He can get feisty like Draymond does on the other side of the ball. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a big game in Game 3.
I will say, and I know it's team defense, but when you're trying to guard a guy like Steph Curry for the amount that he runs around, is just running on the floor, particularly on the offensive end, I'm sure it's exhausting. So a lot is being placed on the shoulders of Marcus Smart in this series, but I agree with
Derek
you.
White, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right. It looks exhausting. But speaking of moments, obviously there's an NBA Finals legendary set coming up because that's what we're talking about here. And we can tell you that this drop is going to happen on June 23rd. And in the pack, you'll get 7 base set moments, 1, and then there were 4 rare moments, and 1 NBA Finals legendary moment. We also have a common pack dropping on the same day, later on the same day, featuring 4 moments, 2 of them base set commons, and 2 of them playoff limited edition moments. There are further details come on this drop, but to get excited for this set coming to life over the next few games, Abby, in your opinion, when I saw a lot of predictions for this series, I reckon the Celtics were slightly disrespected. Warriors in 5, Warriors in, a lot of people predicting the Warriors. Have a lot of people in the media and the pundits sort of underestimated your Celtics, do you think?
I do think so. I think nationally, that is certainly the opinion. And everyone that I talked to, didn't even pick the Celtics to beat the Heat to get to this position. I think that the turnaround, the way that everything happened, it has taken a lot for people to kind of buy in. And if you're not watching every game to see just how good they can be on the defensive end, it may catch you by surprise. And that's something that I found really interesting. We talked about the fourth quarter of Game 1, is a lot of the national reporters I talked to said, I did not see that coming. Usually, the Warriors in that third quarter take control of a game and then just put their foot down on people's throats. And the Celtics were just completely unfazed by that. And that's something that I have seen them do all season long. And so, yes, I do think they have been disrespected. I think that once you see their defense up close, it is stunning to watch, to see what they're capable of at that end. And then Jason Tatum, he brought it up today. He said, when did this whole debate about whether I'm a superstar or not begin? Because I am not the one who did that. But he did say, and like we've been talking about with these legendary moments, that may be debatable whether he is a superstar or not. But if they win this championship, you cannot debate that he is a champion. And so while the disrespect may be there, the Celtics are the most storied franchise in the NBA, and they will fight for this championship.
100%. Ram it home. So, NBA Finals MVP. Has anyone got any hot takes here?
Derek White.
Oh, that would be
fantastic.
Really? I'm kidding.
That'd be unreal.
He's been huge. Played big minutes.
It depends who wins, obviously. If it's the Warriors, it seems impossible that it's not Steph Curry. Even if there could be a question about it, I feel like he will win it no matter what. Given how Iguodala won the Finals MVP of that first championship with Steph's, I feel like it'll be this weird we owe him situation no matter what happens, and they'll give it to him.
He's also earned it at this point.
He has.
I think based on those first 2 games alone, you could feel okay giving it to him.
No doubt. And then on the Celtics side, I think it's going to have to be Tatum. If they win the series, it has to be Tatum. He's got to let his presence be felt throughout the series. He's got to be the best scorer in the series. And I think he's capable of doing that on all 3 levels of the offensive side of the court. So we'll see. I'm excited to see it play out. There's way too many days between games right now. I just want a Game 3. Yeah. It needs to happen.
I agree with you. I will say the flight across the country is no joke. And going out against the headwind was rough. And then coming back, I booked my red-eye flight for the wrong day. I booked it for Sunday, June 12th, not Sunday, June 5th. So I needed the extra day to get back and make up for my mistake. So I agree with you. We're not getting enough basketball right now, but the travel days are built in for a very good reason. For the MVPs, I agree with you. I think if the Warriors win, it's Steph Curry, and no one will have an issue with it unless he completely, lays an egg from here on out, which I don't think he's even capable of doing. I would like to throw my hat into the ring for Al Horford. I was pushing for him for the Eastern Conference Finals MVP until he was not good in Game 7. So I thought he had a chance there for a little while. But just what he has done for this team all season long, what he does for them on the defensive end, but also inside the huddle. And I think that deserves some acknowledgement. But I agree with you, Brandon. It's going to be hard to vote against Jason Tatum if he can put together a couple of Jason Tatum-like games.
Was there any talk from Tatum around how much it meant to him to be the first to win the Larry Bird Trophy?
He did. He was really thoughtful about it after the Eastern Conference Finals and trying to soak it all in, because it does mean something. It's the first Larry Bird Trophy going to a Celtics forward to put on this jersey and play in front of this city. He understands what the expectations are. And I think that it was as much a relief as a moment of joy for him.
Yeah, nice. You've been around sort of like interviews and practices. What are some of the things that you've observed that you think isn't being talked about enough around either of these teams?
What I do like, it's a good question, Steve. I'm thinking, because I feel like much of the talk today was all about Draymond Green, and I would love to hear your guys' opinion about that and how he is refereed, and the fact that just because he got called for a tech early in the first quarter, that then he can't get called for another one and get tossed out of a game. Because why wouldn't he just go crazy in the first quarter and then know that there are going to be no repercussions? But something that isn't talked about enough, I think, is the importance of defense, and that both of these teams were so good defensively, and I've said it repeatedly on this podcast, but were so good defensively in the regular season, and that the Warriors, and it's a basketball IQ that I feel like every guy who touches the floor in this series has. And the fact that both of these teams are able to, you hear it's so cliche, be on the same page, 5 guys on a string, but they're just so smart and creative and reactive in the way that they're defending each other. And I still feel like what's interesting to me is, well, because it's the finals and so you haven't seen each other as much, I still feel like these teams are starting to feel each other out. And we saw that in Game 2 with the major rotation changes from Steve Kerr and the matchup changes. And so I'm really interested to see what happens in Game 3 and what adjustments can be made, because I've been really impressed with Ime Udoka and the chess match between coaches, taking out, his former boss and Steve Nash in the first round, one of the guys that he worked with for a long time and looked up to, and Mike Budenholzer when they were in San Antonio, and then Eric Spoelstra, who I know the Celtics had the better team on paper, but Ime Udoka went toe-to-toe with Spo in that last series. So I'm really curious to see what happens and what adjustments are made here in Game 3. Brandon, what do you think?
I think you nailed it. I don't really have anything to add to that. I mean, I think that's right.
What do you think about Draymond Green, then? Let's talk about that.
I think there's a lot of validity to what you said. I have my own personal fandom history with Draymond Green, right? I'm a Thunder fan.
Ooh, what is it?
Like, going back to the Thunder Warriors, like, little mini rivalry in the mid-2010s, like, he kicked Steven Adams, and he doesn't get suspended in that game, and that could have potentially had an effect on that series. Instead, it kind of rolls over into the finals where he does get suspended, and the Cavs ultimately win that championship that year. So he does a lot of things on the court that are just like he gets away with a lot, but it's almost like when you're that style of player, it's annoying for a referee to just constantly punish you, and maybe he's finding a way to exploit that a little bit, and it works to his benefit, because no one takes away how great of a player he is, right? Everyone acknowledges this guy's a one-of-a-kind player. He makes a real impact on the court, but yeah, he plays football out there sometimes.
He's frustrating for Warriors fans.
Being a green teamer, being offended by this?
No. He's frustrating it for Warriors fans as well. It's just like, why do you need to toe that line so close? Just be on the court. You saw what happened in 2016. And he seems to need to play that way to be effective, to be on that edge. But yeah, I think they nailed it on the call of the game as well. They were like, well, we don't want the referees to decide the game, so I don't want to see people ejected. But during the regular season, this has been an ejection all year. So I kind of agree with that. I can't argue with either of you guys there. And yeah, we still want your game 3 predictions, guys. So who's winning and by what margin?
All right, I'm going to go Celtics by 8. I think the crowd's going to be fired up. The Celtics team with 0 finals experience up until games 1 and games 2, right? That's all they have. And I think they're excited. They're going to be excited to get home. To Abby's point, this team's been about adjustments all season long. I think they're going to come out with fire. Marcus Smart's going to lead that charge. I think he's going to come out with the most fire. I think Tatum's going to look to score early. I think Brown will find his groove as the game goes along. They're going to find that Celtics rhythm. Horford's going to do Horford things. Derek White's been so big to this team. It feels like a lot of it, he's that bench guy that they need to be able to rely on. So we'll see if he comes to play. Peyton Pritchard, can he add 4 points, 6 points, a steal, 2 assists, whatever? That's all they need from Pritchard. Can he do that? I love the finals, man. Every rebound matters. Every steal matters. Every minute matters. It's the best.
I want to say Celtics, obviously, because I cover this team, but I just have this feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like I mentioned, they just have trouble with success. So I'm going to say Celtics. I'm going to say, I like your prediction, Brandon, because I feel like in a close game too also makes me nervous with late game execution with this team. So then I'm going to say Celtics by 9.
It's not good for the heart watching some of these games, I must admit. And
Price is right. Price is righted me. Sorry.
I'm going to go Warriors in 5 points in a slugfest. More probably because that's what I hope is going to happen, which makes my prediction invalid. But that's what I'm going to go with, okay?
Where are you, Steve? Where do you live?
I'm in Southeast Australia, so I'm...
You are? You are? What time is that why it's dark there? I thought you just had really nice lighting.
It's both.
I mean, you
it's
do,
dark,
clearly.
It's dark and nice lighting. If I'm honest. Is there anything... I'm conscious of your time, Abby, but is there anything you wanted to maybe talk about or chime in on? Like, it can be basketball.
No, I just feel like, have I taken it over with Celtics talk? We're lucky they're in the finals.
I mean, we knew what we signed up for.
Okay. You knew what you were signing up for.
It's all good. It was great balance.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any, like, behind-the-scenes stuff to give, but not really. Like, that's what the finals are really tough. Like I said, the NBA kind of takes over, so we're really not like around them as much. But it has been really nice to. It's the first actual Celtics. It's not even practice, but them shooting and coaches walking them through stuff that we've seen all season. The Celtics haven't let us watch anything, so being on the floor for the 30 minutes that the NBA requires has been so refreshing. And I forgot what it was like. And
nice.
So, like, seeing Gary Payton not shooting, but then passing the ball into the ball rack. Did you guys see that clip?
No.
It was mesmerizing. So he didn't do the way that it works is both teams have to practice at the arena and they overlap. So you do the media for one team while one is getting ready to practice. And so you watch the end of one practice, talk to them, and then you talk to them and watch the beginning of the next practice. So seeing the end of the Warriors practice, everyone was doing just, around the world shooting drills. And Gary Payton the second, and I don't know if it's because of his elbow, they never explicitly said that, but was not participating in those. He was trying to, from across the court, bounce the ball into the ball rack and just have it stay there like a carnival game. And he did it a bunch. He would put some spin on it too, or like change the angle. It was impressive and mesmerizing. And then that was when I realized this is why they don't really let us in. Because I mean, what are we doing here? I'm watching Gary Payton II do this, but yeah, I was entertained.
I need to look up Young Glove on the internet now and just check out that clip.
And then also Gary Payton just shagging balls for the Warriors. So if your dad is an NBA legend, he can come to practice anytime and shag balls, I'm
That's
sure.
fair.
Did you see the
Right?
shirt that Gary Payton Sr. wore
Yes.
where the father was the son was guarding the father? I thought that was pretty cool.
At first, I thought he just was wearing a shirt that said his name on it. Like, I thought he was just like, yeah, I'm Gary Payton. I was just like, that's kind of cool. I'm going to start doing that. Just like wearing a shirt with my own name on it. But then I remembered. I was like, oh, yeah, well, now it makes more sense.
I mean, there's probably a shirt that you can make for yourself that, I don't know, I curate the moments or something like that.
You got to build that brand, Brandon.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
If you don't do it, who will?
No one. So, yeah.
Well, we got Brandon Curations coming up. Abby, Brandon, thank you so much for your time. It was really fun, as always, to chat with you. And I really hope that, one, for you, the Celtics really show up for you at TD Garden and the atmosphere is unreal. And we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Abby.
Yeah,
I had
thank you
a lot
guys.
of fun.
It was fun.